Hello and welcome to Live at Lunch. This week we're looking at online meetings and the tools that you can use for that. So some fantastic ways that you can connect and collaborate with people online with a whole lot of tools that are relatively, a lot of them are actually free. And then there's a whole host of different ways that you could connect live as well that have different price ranges. But I think what really needs to be considered when you're thinking about connecting live online is a comparison of the travel time and what you gain from not having to travel through traffic at night, or travelling long distances on country roads. And in fact, that was what got me into engaging with online meetings. I already was an online classroom teacher and had been using webinars and online connections for connecting with people all over the state, Australia-wide and the world. And it was through a volunteer capacity, travelling to meetings and having to spend virtually all day to travel, engage in the meeting and then travel home again, and my issue with insomnia. So that at times I couldn't get to a meeting because I'd had a few nights in a row where I wasn't sleeping well and I wasn't prepared to put myself at risk for a meeting. I really wanted to be there, so we started to look at strategies to connect online. And I've been doing that for a number of years it's probably over 4 years now that we've been doing meetings, and we've fine-tuned them, so online meetings and connecting people across a really broad area of about 5 or 6 hours distance, travel-wise. So let's share some of the tools that you can use. Now, at the moment, we're using Zoom, and so that's a possibility. And Zoom actually has capacity for about 45 minutes to connect online through your own meeting, and you could potentially reopen them and connect again. So that's a freebie. There are other ones like Skype or Google Connect. I don't actually use that one. I'm not using the correct term, but all the other tools that we're going to be using are to do with Google, because they have a fantastic array of resources that are free, which they use in all sorts of ways. So let's share my screen, and we're going to head for the presentation mode, and we're going to flip between a variety of tools. Okay, so welcome to Live at Lunch. And what do you need for effective meetings? So there's a whole mixture of things, one being an agenda, and an agenda that's sent out in a timely fashion, that there's the ability to take minutes, that there's a live connection and discussion between all the people that are at that meeting. You really need the capacity to have your point of view, to listen to what other people have to say, to vote on motions, and we need sharing of reports. They're probably the main things, and I'd be keen to know if you've got any other ideas as to what you would need in a meeting. So there's things about managing it well as well, which we're just going to look for the tools today. So, okay, so we could engage in a meeting, and here's an agenda. And in an upcoming course that I'll be sharing these resources. And what we have is the capacity for people to connect and all be working together. At the moment, I'm recording without other people here in the room, but we could actually have a different person engaging. If they've got the link, I've set the Google document so that other people can actually access and connect with it. So you could have people. I'm sitting here in Coonabarabran. You could have someone over, say, in Blaney or Orange or Dubbo or somewhere they could be the minute taker while I'm chairing the meeting, so they can be talking. Now, what's fantastic is that you can have different people typing at the same time in this document. And you can see it's automatically changing as we go. So all of a sudden, this agenda then becomes the minutes for the meeting, okay? And you can hand over the minute taker could be could change through the session, and that's actually what we do. We utilise a way of having, if someone is the owner of the item, we try and have it that somebody else is taking the minutes. If you've got a set secretary, awesome. But say if your secretary is speaking, you could actually have, so say if it was here, you might have somebody else take the minutes, so that you just have that bit of a handover. It takes the pressure off a person trying to present, type and talk at the same time. I know we say that we can multitask, but this is certainly it's an important aspect to be able to have people focus on what they're doing instead of trying to multitask. The other thing that you can do really handy in an online meeting is if someone actually types content, and we have the capacity to type in text chat when you're in a virtual room, that you could copy and paste. You could save the effort for a minute taker or the secretary. They could copy and paste a motion or some comments that someone types. So there's the ability to talk in a virtual meeting room, but there's also the ability to type. So we have these multiple ways of communicating. And what's fantastic is that we can all see the agenda and the minutes, as it were, at the same time. So we can be typing and have who's accepting. And yeah, what I always love to do is, and it's something I've learned from Girl Guides, is with a welcome to have a meeting thought. So here's one that I've sourced from the Good Morning quote of Positive Thoughts. Opportunities are everywhere. And let me make that even bigger while we're looking at it. And opportunities are everywhere. It's up to me to find or create them and make things happen. So I think that's a very positive way. So we're using a tool that's free. There may be other tools, and always open to finding what other people find as useful. So there are new tools being created every day. And okay, so here we've got the link up here. We have the sample team meeting we've got happening in the location and the online meeting, so that this agenda would be set out beforehand so everyone knows what the topic and the focus is. We have a use of the owner and who is the person who's going to be owning the topic that's being presented, and a rough timing. Now, we go in and out of using this, but it's amazing. We used to have meetings where, as I said earlier, that we would travel quite some distance, so we could be 3 hours away from the meeting. We'd get there, we'd have coffee and tea to revive. We'd connect and network and chat, get on focused on the meeting. We'd need to stop for lunch because we've been away for the day. And the meeting would drag out. And it had some nice social aspects to it, which was of value, but it really was a time-consuming effort in terms of a volunteer capacity. I don't deny that it's a really good connection to be in person and connecting, but what a great thing now is that with the timing and the practice with that and fine-tuning, our meetings are always an hour and a half long, and that's it. So if you think of that whole day of travelling, time, cost of meals, cost of fuel, potential for accidents, wear and tear on the vehicle, an hour and a half is an amazing saving of time and effort. So it's an opportunity. We're all of a sudden, we've saved time for our family, for ourselves, and still getting to connect and make decisions that are really pertinent for our organisation. So always important to have the minutes sent out earlier and that in a timely fashion so people can read them. And so often there's just, the responses there, accepted, all in favour, any abstentions. And what I was going to show you, so we can have a trial collaborative document is something that we could all engage in. So it's very much like what we're doing now, but I would have lots of people engaging in it. So I won't show you this one at the moment, but in our course, that's what we will do is we'll actually be, in the course that I'm offering through the month of October, you will actually engage fully in participating in setting up your own documents and engaging and seeing how people can build it up. And you can have a whole lot of people put in and fill in a report potentially and have it on the spot. So it's a fantastic tool. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you is how you can do a Google Drive form and how you could actually have some polling. Now, we've got coming up, which I'm really excited about with Live at Lunch, we have on the 19th of October, we have a special guest of Kachi Ingham. He's going to be doing some tips about tea. But in November, we're going to have some actual tea tasting. So we're going to have people subscribe to this event, and there will be a cost because you're going to have a tea infuser, 3 different teas to taste and engage live online, where we can talk and compare the flavours and tastes. And Katya will talk about how she's made them, blended them. So she's a lady from the Central West who's taken a hobby to the next level, which is really exciting. So if we want to I want to create a poll or a form that I could get the responses from. So in a meeting, you might have a quick poll, and there are some variety of tools, but I'm just going to show you the one that's with Google Drive. So what we need to do is, if we were in, I'm just going to go from here, www.google. We're actually on it here, and there's some squares here up the top right-hand corner that I'm pointing to. I'm hoping you can see that. And one of the options is Google Drive. Now, it may not appear at the top where I've got it. It could be under More because there's a whole host. And Google Plus was what I was trying to talk for ways you can connect and talk with people as a possibility. Okay, a huge, huge suite of tools worth checking out. But Drive's got a whole host in itself. So let's click on Google Drive. Now it's going to come up with all my files, and you'll see that I am very active indeed with lots. I partner with women in business, creating courses collaboratively so that we can build and create business. We've got all sorts of things that I do in volunteer-wise. I have my whole Live at Lunch presentations are all together in a folder. So what you do over here is under Google Drive, we have what's called New. And if you click on New, you get a whole host of resources. So we have folders, you can upload a file. And I'm going to go to More because what we want is Google Forms for this particular activity. So we're looking at trying to get a questionnaire out to, say, a team. And this could be when you're choosing your meeting time, for example. Okay. So what I want to do is tea tasting with Katya. What time would you prefer? Okay. So that's our big question. Well, I'm only doing a really simple one. You could do lots. You can add images and yeah, we can play around with that actually. I might do that in a moment. All right, so when I'm offering a live tea tasting event on the 23rd of November. we need to determine the time. Okay. So we're going to put here, which would you prefer? Now, a lot of people do surveys using, and you've seen it a lot, SurveyMonkey is very popular. SurveyMonkey has a free version and it has a paid version, and it has results and things like, and you can access results but it's limited on the free version, not on the paid version. This actually has some really lovely results in, we even have our pay claims, travel claims through the volunteer organisation that I'm involved in. And we can get the responses for the treasurer to pay. And we know where they've been, and they fill out a form just by using one of these documents. So which would you prefer to connect online for 1 hour of awesome, exciting tea tasting? I can't wait for this. This is the first time I've ever done something like this, and Katja and I are really excited. There is a free event happening on the 19th where she's going to talk about tea and getting the most out of tasting your tea. And so there may be some different opinions on that, but she's going to give us her expertise. But later on, for those who register, we're going to have this really live tea tasting. So we're going to have all the samples. We'll have to have the kettle boiled and the teapot ready. But we've actually got an infuser that's going to come out. So you'll have everything there to make yourself a lovely cup of tea. In fact, 3 different sorts, and then talk to the creator. I think it's exciting. So the questions here can be short answer, paragraph, multiple choice. So we're going to go in this one, multiple choice, and we're going to go for 8 a.m, 23rd of November. Add another 6 p.m, we're thinking. Oh, where's that? Yeah, 6 p.m, 23rd of November. And this is, and it's all the Thursdays. I might add that in too. Lost it. 6 p.m, Thursday, 23rd November. And we might put other, so that you've got another time that you might suggest. Okay, so we're going to go, we've got the 3 options there, and you can click across to make it required that the person has to answer it. But that's up to you. You could copy the question if you wanted, you could delete it, you could change the style of your questions through all these options here. And yeah, so there's lots and lots of different things. So yeah. Okay. Actually, I've never tried the time. Let me have a little curious. I might lose what I've got. What does that do? Can't really see. No. So we'll go back to our multiple choice. We've lost it. And it's good to see this happening in the process, to see if you change your question, you lose what you've got. Okay. But it will change and save as you go. So 8 a.m, Thursday, 23rd November. Six p.m, Thursday, 23rd November. Okay. And then we can go, we can add a section, we can add a video, so we could put in a whole, some lovely bits of information beforehand so people would choose. And we could add an image. So say if I did add an image, I can choose an image to upload. So you can make your things look pretty special. I'll head to I've got a lovely photo. Of Katja. Right. Okay, so that can be as simple as that. And we might add a little bit of text as well. So that'll go underneath, and that's a T. Thank you for your time. Okay, so then we've got a whole lot of controls here. So you can collect the email address. You could limit it to one response. You could have it that people edit it, so they might change their time. You can have it that they see, other people see the responses so far. And that's been a fantastic thing we've done with a community project where we've had a QR code challenge around the town of Coonabarabran, and that was in a live at lunch. We talked about that in for Bike Week, if you want to see the recording. So we had responses there. Okay, so you can do quizzes, all sorts of things. So we might say that you can have, well, we might say you can edit it. So you can tick, untick, and just see what, so we'll save that. Okay, so then what we do is we come up to here to send. So this, this is a tool that you wouldn't likely use in the meeting, though then again you might get a quick response and get the answers. So if we press send, you can send it to people's emails, or what I tend to do is use the link, shorten it, so you get a nice little email, copy that, and then, for example, we could share it. If I had a whole lot of people in the room now, we could have a quick response. But if I go to here and we pop it there, let's have a look at what the survey then looks like. Okay, thanks for your time. Now, I would potentially, it'd be nice to actually say that I'm available for both, so I can see that I need to edit it. So if we go back to here, close that, it may lose our questions, but let's just say we want check boxes. Oh, good. That one didn't lose it. That's great. Okay. So let's try that again. I'm going to refresh it. Okay, yes, I want to reload it. And I should be able to do other, would like daytime, say, for example. So there we go. And we go, thank you, and then I submit it. Now I can see the previous responses, which is only mine. And so we've got all of that data there, and we can see the number of daily responses is there. So a great way to get a response. Another way you can look at your responses is to see here. And yeah, so we get, and then you might get, sometimes you get pie charts depending on what the question is and how you ask it, or you get a summary. So a lovely way of doing it. You can see individuals and their responses. So you can see that I've ticked all if you wanted to see the individual ones, and you could move through and see all the responses that way, or you can actually get a spreadsheet and download it. So lots of awesome ways. Okay, so let's go back to our agenda. So we've just created that tea tasting experience. And if you'd like to join in, we have some lovely, you can connect and have discussions about meetings. So I have a free forum that you can engage with. Also happy, and this is all about connecting teams. And we have some resources, what online tools, any questions and discussions. So you can join in that. You do need to register or log in to participate, but a nice way to connect in with discussions. And with meetings, yeah, you'd have the next meeting, what time it closed. As I said earlier, we really keep well to time, so we have an hour and a half. And we have action items, so if anyone, think this is a really important thing. If you have action items that are listed up here, that you put it all down in a document that you can keep adding action items, so that at the end, that list is the key thing that people look for. And you could have it at the next meeting and say, these are all the action items. What's the status? What have people done? Is it still outstanding? Have you done it? Connecting with people beforehand, before the meeting, and saying, look, this action item, how are you going with it? And then the other thing that you can have is formal resolution. So if someone passes a motion, a big decision's made that everyone agrees to, then that can be the resolution and who's proposed it and who's carried it, etc. So the template for an agenda is really valuable. Okay. So we've looked at it. We've got so many more resources that you can use with Google Drive that I'm not going into, but we looked at forms, and we were looking at Google Drive, and we were looking at forms and a document today, so like a Word document. And in my course, we'll actually do a whole host of resources for that. Okay, so we have some different, so we're talking about the discussion forum, and there's quite a few different discussions on my website. Effective online meetings. We're going to be kicking off with 4 short weeks of really good hands-on tools. So showing them, you engaging in them and participating and creating them for your own team. So you'll get bonus resources of templates for agendas and other things, signs on your door for not disrupting, and a whole host of things. And even talking about rules of engagement. We're looking at setting the agenda and virtual meetings so that everyone has their voice, and keeping to time. So there's going to be a whole lot of tips that is going to make it really practical. Now, this course is normally $220. I'm offering it right now for $99, so it's on special. We're going to start next week, and so if you want, come to register. I'll show you. So vivianevans.com.au if you look for courses, and then hit the Effective Online Meetings course. There's a way to register there, or you can ring me directly and chat and see what you want. I'm happy not only to do this course, which is I really want it to be highly engaging and connected. That's where I really can share my skills. I am looking at doing a course that you'll just step through and have videos and do it yourself. If you'd like that, I'm really keen for you to let me know. And also, if you would like me to tailor it for your team, nothing better than to have the whole team on board, have a real meeting with your team online where we co-facilitate it and have everyone learning together and feeling really comfortable and supportive. So it's about having your commitment. So this is special. So we've got $220, but I'm offering this special right now at $99. So make sure you get in there and participate in that. So we have some really exciting live at lunches coming up. We have Big Sky Ideas with Hayley Purbrick. She's an amazing woman who's really battling and winning the battle about small communities and them reducing. So she's talking about engaging with an entrepreneurial, supporting the community members to be entrepreneurial in their thinking to grow their own community. Fantastic thing. So she's doing that in southern New South Wales and doing some really exciting projects. So Hayley will be here next week. We have the tea tasting tips with Katja, and leading on to in November, as I mentioned, an awesome live tea tasting. I can't wait for that, live online, so we can all sip our teas and taste and talk to the creator. Awesome. But Katja's going to be talking, this is a free one, and in the 23rd it'll actually be paying, just so that we get the resources that you need to you. And then on the 26th we have the awesome international coach Anne Ryan, and she's going to focus on mindset and business. So she's more about connecting, particularly with women, but people of all sorts, about owning your goal. That's her website. own your goal. So we've got big sky ideas, tea cart, tea tasting, and then owning your own goals. So some really exciting live at lunch events coming up for the month of October. I can't wait. I look forward to connecting with you, and anyone, pass on the message. These are great free live at lunch events. Don't forget the special course discount of $99. So it's a great saving of over $100 that I'm offering, and I look forward to connecting with you live online. Have a brilliant day and a brilliant week.